Panther people, what up? Going on, you watch Panthers post. Thanks for joining. The Panthers get annihilated, embarrassed, walked off the field in New England. They had to go to the massage parlor after because they were beat up that badly. The Panthers were out-coached, out-physicaled, outplayed, out-schemed, out-kicked returned, everything. Even David Canales, who I'm going to say, I'm coming for him, said they got beaten every aspect of the game. I don't even know the score. It doesn't matter. It got to the point where you watched it, and that's when you looked at your watch, you looked outside, you're like, I'm going to go do something more productive, something that actually makes me happy. I, for instance, had a birthday party for a baby Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday, I was watching the game, at a baby's birthday party, and then I just realized this game it's done for. It's done. I'm expecting scorched earth. I had Panther fans who, I was trying to get some Toronto Panther fans to meet me next week in the second home game. I can't believe we're heading into week 5 and they've only had one home game, and I don't even know if that's going to happen. I think morale is so low. I said it before when they were 0-2. I'm just tired. I'm tired, and I don't want to break this game down, but there's certain things that stuck out to me that made me realize, does this team have the right leadership to take them in the right direction? Number one, the defense. What? I still remember watching the previews on NFL Network, Super Bowl 50, Panthers, Broncos. We had Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Trey, Charles Johnson. They said the reason why, I think it was Marshall Faulk at the time, who said the reason why the Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl is that they just do everything better than you do. They do the fundamentals right, especially on defense. They pursuit better. Their angles are better. Their tackling is better. They're sure tacklers. Whether it's an ankle tackle, a proper stick to the chest, knee tackle, whatever. They do it better than you do. This Panther defense, mind you, they're without Turk Wharton. They were without Patrick Jones. They were without DJ Wanham. They had Princey. They had Nick Scott. They had DJ Johnson on the line. But it's not like Wanham, Patrick, and Turk are world beaters. I know that Turk, maybe the talent level drop is significant, but Patrick Jones and Princey or Nick Scott, it shouldn't be that much. It's definitely not that much of a drop from DJ Johnson to Nick Scott or to Princey Umemeland. But the tackles, the broken, to the point where it felt like guys were not just tackling, they were pushing the ball carrier, whether it's Hunter Henry or Henderson or whoever, down the line in the towards our end zone. Not just tackling, pushing like a bobsled towards the goal line. It was just, the tackling was so bad. Christian Roseboom got faked so bad to pursue Drake May, and then Hunter Henry just galloped down with J.C. Horn, who, mind you, should be able to keep pace with the tight end, should be able to get him down. Didn't happen. But the level of just sheer incompetence from a fan perspective of just tracking the ball carrier, getting them down effectively, the amount of broken the punt return for a touchdown, which really turned shit on its head. I think there were 6 Panther players who could not catch the returner. Couldn't. They were surrounding him, could not get him down. Embarrassing. It's like everyone else in the league is playing a different sport at a different speed than this team. And it was the complete opposite of the win against Atlanta. Every aspect of the team that propels you to a win against Atlanta did not happen in this game. Special teams failed. The dirty ball, whatever, which made headlines for a little bit, that was nowhere to be seen. The defense played competent football. They played confident football, aggressive football. We had Ejiro Evero just scheming the shit out of that game, and then that did not happen in this game. The special teams game really put the offense in a bind, really put the defense in the bind. And then the offense, which wasn't great against Atlanta, wasn't great, had to be great against the New England Patriots to outweigh what was happening on the defense and on special teams. And they just don't have the guys. They don't have the guys. Xavier Lee gets on the sideline, whether it's voluntary or not. And you have still the T-Mac Bryce Young connection, the Cali connection. It's there sometimes, but it still hasn't found the back of the end zone. Mitchell Evans scored a touchdown before Tetra McMillan, and that's not connecting. You lose David Moore, who is like the veteran presence with an elbow injury, whether he dislocated it, subluxed it, meaning it came out and went back in. We don't know. So now we got Tetra McMillan. We got Hunter Renfrow, who is hot and cold, just had a baby. Congrats. So he's going to be tired, unless he's staying in a hotel room, which I don't see that happening. And Bryce Tremaine. Like, that is potentially a worse receiving core than what Bryce had in his rookie year. Nothing taken away from Tetra McMillan, but like Adam Thielen was at least on that team, like catching goal balls, reliable hands, getting touchdowns, security blanket. Like, who's Bryce Young's security blanket right now? Like, it doesn't really seem to have one because he doesn't have JT Sanders either. The run game isn't really what it was last year. It just isn't. And the offense is just not, it's not going to carry this team if the defense and special teams is not doing well. And we're just not good enough in any sense. And Dave Canales said, I know people were smoking the hopium like crazy in the offseason. We're going to make the wild card. I was that guy. We're going to make the wild card game. It's going to happen. I don't even know if Dave Canales is still going to be the head coach. Canadian Thanksgiving is just a couple weeks. By American Thanksgiving, I don't know. But Dave Canales said that it was going to take some time for this team. He's trying to tempering expectations. This after they were hyping everybody up, celebrating the 2015 Carolina Panthers team, talking about, the last time they saw the Bank of America Stadium, that hype, that rowdy last week was during 2015. Like, people were feeling foolish. I was feeling foolish heading into this game in Gillette Stadium. And you know what? It just made me realize that, hey, the haters on the network level, like, no one was talking about the Panthers blanking the Falcons. They were just talking about how the Falcons got beat up. That's it. And how they suck and what they got to do better. They weren't saying at the hands of the Panthers. They weren't saying that. The level of disrespect. But you know what? Maybe they deserve that level of disrespect. No one actually believes in this team that it was a fluky 30-0 win, if that even exists. Well, guess what? The Panthers proved them that it does exist. Winning 30-0, if you're the Panthers, means jack shite. Because the very next week, you're going to lose 42-13, whatever it was, against New England Patriots. The very next week. And that's just what bad teams are. Bad teams are, that's just what they are. They're inconsistent. And this team is inconsistent at best. And you're hearing the same stuff from Dave Canales saying, they got to execute. We got to set them up for success better. We got to figure out who we are. We got to, look ourselves in the mirror and figure, like, what's our team? Like, what are we about? What's our identity? What is the identity? What have we figured out thus far? What have we figured out? That our defense is hot and cold. Our special teams was a bright spot for a week. And, defense regressed to a curve. The offense is undermanned. You traded away the security blanket, who's doing absolutely nothing with the Vikings right now. He might be in a worse situation, potentially. You have a second-year wide receiver you got in the first round who has regressed. He's in his own head. He probably hates it here now. You have a Cali connection with your 8th overall pick that isn't exactly his talent level right now, isn't outshining some of the short passes, the overshot passes, the misses that Canales talked about a couple times, thrown by 9. Like, he's good, but like, the man can only jump and turn and catch balls behind him for so long. And at the end of it also, we got a quarterback that he is a trailer. He's not a tractor. I talked about before with Clifford Taylor IV. Check out the episode. Cam Newton gave us PTSD for quarterbacks. The man was truly generational. He was a truck, and he was carrying guys like Ted Ginn Jr. and Philly Brown to the Super Bowl and won an MVP. Bryce Young is not that guy. Imagine what Cam Newton could do with Tetra McMillan, Bryce Tremaine, and Hunter Renfrow, and Tommy Tremble. Like that, you could say that's a better wide receiver core than what he had. Like, imagine. But Bryce is just not that guy. He's not the guy to grab this game by the scruff of the neck, be like, I'm taking over. This is my team. I'm gonna guide this team to a win. He's just not that guy. He's in his 3rd year. They've surrounded him with talent. Mind you, they took away Adam Thielen. Jalen Coker's out with injury. But, like, they got 2,000-yard rushers in the backfield. Yes, he lost Robert Hunt, and then he also lost Chandler Zavala in back-to-back weeks. Yes, he lost Austin Corbett, who was technically worse than Cade Mays, which we understand. But like it's just, he's not the guy to elevate. He's just not. And I don't think there's a guy on the horizon that could be that dude. Like whether it's a reclamation project like a Daniel Jones, who, by the way, Panther fans scoffed at to bring in the Charlotte native. Because honestly, even if he did bring him, would he succeed? I don't know. Because Baker didn't succeed, Sam Darnold didn't succeed, and they're doing pretty okay where they are right now in Seattle and Tampa Bay. So I don't even know if you brought in a Daniel Jones, would he be the Daniel Jones that we're seeing right now with the Indianapolis Colts? Probably not. Is there a guy in college that could supersede Bryce Young, this Mateer kid who now has hand surgery? We'll see how that goes. You know, it seems like all the other top quarterbacks that people were talking about in the offseason, not exactly living up to the expectations, besides potentially Sellers out of South Carolina. But even still, could he be Anthony Richardson 2.0? There's a good chance. There's a greater than 0% chance that is who he is as well. So I don't know where I stand with Bryce. Do I think he is the long-term answer? If it means that he needs to have a 100% healthy Pro Bowl offensive line, he needs not just a Tetra McMillan, but he also needs a Puka Nacua, and he also needs a T. Higgins, and he also needs Greg Olsen in his prime, and he also needs Jonathan Stewart and Chuba Hubbard, then no. If he needs an all-star cast to look great, no. He's not the guy. And maybe it's just the Panthers are a Cleveland Browns South, and they just need to continue to throw darts at the wall, and hopefully somebody sticks. Somebody sticks with this team and can get the chicken shit that they've been dealt with and made chicken salad. And I don't know who the chef is in that situation, because right now Dave Canales is on thin ice as a Canadian. Being on thin ice, not good for the Americans out there. You don't want to be on thin ice. You want to be on thick ice. You can drill through it, then you can fish. But he is on thin ice. It does not seem that the lack of preparation, the lack of execution, the play calling in the red zone, like they were in Patriots territory 4 times, no penalties, 6 points. Because there was a missed extra point. Inexcusable. Now, whether it's he doesn't trust Bryce, or he doesn't trust himself, or he trusts the defense because of what happened last game and the game before that in Arizona, because technically that was the offense's fault with why they lost that game with the turnovers. It just seems like, I just think, well, I'm not an X's and O's guy, and I said it before, I love the positivity. You know, he's Pete Carroll, disciple, blah, blah, blah. Pete Carroll got results wherever he went. Like, he went to the NFL, didn't work out, he got cut. Bill Belichick then in for the New England Patriots. That rest is history. He went to USC, was a champion at USC, went to Seattle, became a champion in Seattle. Now he's with the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's working that project there. Like, he is a winner wherever he has gone at every level. He's a winner. You cannot deny that. Nick Saban, when he was in the NFL, not a winner, big time loser, and then big winner in college. Could he do the same in the NFL now? Probably not. But like, it's just the positivity attitude, Pete Carroll 2.0, jacked, tight shirts, tight pants, all that shit, the capris. It's going to wear thin when it seems like the guys who are putting their lives on the line, like, it's not worth it anymore. And those words, those hollow, positive words, just ring empty in their hearts. And sorry to get emotional, but like, that's kind of, it's going to get old real fast. And instead of wanting like a youth pastor leading him into battle, they want a Jim Harbaugh type. They want that. Like, they want Harbaugh. They want a Robert Saleh type, a guy who could punch you in the mouth. Like, he's just too. Even when they beat the Falcons 40-0, Dave Canales looked like he still wanted to hug you after and, like, you know, give you some daisies. Like, he doesn't seem like, maybe I'm just course correcting, because when you get a nice guy like that, now we need a scruffy guy. We need a Vic Fangio type. But the nice guy shit is going to not last if you're not winning. It seems nice, but I've also heard that Pete Carroll, nice on camera, you know, he's nice out there. Like, he's a player's coach, 100%. Like, I've heard Seattle Seahawks players like a DK Metcalf type. When they had Pete Carroll, they could ask a certain way. But now Mike McDonald's a bit more of a drill sergeant. It changed a little bit. So maybe Pete was a little bit more free, but maybe he got that leeway because of the Super Bowls and the success they had in the regular season. Dave Canales, we're not seeing that. And I think his job is in jeopardy 100%. Like, this is an owner who doesn't waste time. He lets you go. The man's pissed. Vashti, whether it's Vashti or Sheena, captured David Tepper, shuffling over to the locker room, looking pissed. Looked like he's about to fire a bitch. So, is it going to happen? I wouldn't be surprised. But where do you go from there? I talked to Edgar Samingo Jr. privately. I'm like, what have we done, Edgar? These are the type of coaches that they've hired. They've hired the program builder. I'm not going to say successful college head coach. Sure, Matt Rule did great things with Temple, and just with Temple. He was with Temple, and then he did good things with Baylor. They didn't win a national championship. Like, it's not like you're getting a Pete Carroll and then plucking him, or a Jim Harbaugh, who, by the way, knocked on your door and you didn't announce, you didn't answer the door, David Tepper. You got a guy who is a program builder in shitty situations, like at Temple and at Baylor, resurrected it. The Panthers, new owner, sat down, had meatballs, didn't want the Giants to take him, picked him off. That didn't work out. So you got the accomplished college head coach, rookie NFL head coach, no NFL experience as a head coach or offensive coordinator. That didn't work out. Then you got the super tenured Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, head coach with an NFL team in Frank Reich. On paper, it looked okay. But he was washed in terms of like the fact that he needed a break after the situation that he dealt with the Indianapolis Colts and a toxic, may rest in peace, Jim Irsay, with the Indianapolis Colts. Probably needed a break, but he's a football guy, went right to it, and it just wasn't his cup of tea. Also, mind you, the surrounding coaching staff, they tried to course correct in the hardest way by having all these great football minds, and then at the end of the day, for an analytical quarterback like Bryce Young, it was just too much for him. Too many cooks in the kitchen. That didn't work out. So NFL superstar coaching staff, that also didn't work. Okay, so now we got a not really that accomplished either offensive coordinator with a division rival who seemingly, when you looked at the list of guys like the Shane Steichens, the Brad Johnsons or Ben Johnsons out there turning down the Carolina Panthers for jobs, or they got turned away, it seemed like Dave Canales was just the guy who wanted the job the most, because at that time, after firing Matt Rule after a couple of years, after firing Frank Reich after not even 2 years, the Panthers team was radioactive. Who is going to want to join this franchise? Sure, you're going to get paid, but your reputation is going to take a hit. And it seems like Dave Canales, who was like a year away from being a year away of being a coveted head coach material, because he was just announced as offensive coordinator with the Bucs that year, and they were just okay. And now we're seeing it. Maybe it's just the Baker Mayfield thing. Baker Mayfield's just good. Maybe he's just good. Maybe they just draft well. That because he's had Dave Canales, Liam Cohen, and whoever the hell he is now, probably going to be a head coach eventually. And Tampa Bay's doing just fine. They're doing just fine. And so it seemed like Canales was just the guy who wanted the job the most, because who else wanted to work for the Carolina Panthers, who you get a job with them, you won't get 3 years to work out your vision. And even though he's the guy that took the job, probably still not the right guy. The right guy was probably the Jim Harbaugh who is knocking at your door. Sean Payton out there, didn't get him. So I asked Edgar Samingo, like, who's the next type of head coach you get? And that is a Super Bowl winning coach, Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, like proven winner in their DNA, successive years, coming from a winning franchise, who's not 60, who's not 70, like 45, 50. Like Dave Canales, like, doesn't come from that. Like, he was offensive coordinator for 1 year. Before that, he was positional coaches. And like, maybe we're talking about like a Mike McDonald, like a defensive coordinator with a blue blood franchise like the Baltimore Ravens, who's been there for multiple years, and he was successful also at the University of Michigan. Jim Harbaugh approved. You bring him to Seattle and you see what they're doing. They had to weed out the guys that not his guys. The DK Metcalf, they got out of there. Tyler Lockett, they got out of there. And then they got themselves to Sam Darnold. That's the kind of guy he wants. And it's militaristic from what I understand from my brother who's a Seahawks fan. So maybe they need somebody like that. Maybe they need the defensive coordinator right now with the Baltimore Ravens or not. Or they got, his name is escaping me right now, but the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. You grab him. Or just like somebody. All right, now let's go another step. Tepper. Tepper is at fault in a way because he hired Matt Rule. He shouldn't have been involved in that shit. He then hired Frank Reich. That was a mistake. And he hired Dave Canales, who looks like it could be 3 mistakes in a row. But as reported last year, David Tepper's taking a step back. He hasn't thrown jinx at anybody. Like, that's a sign of improvement. He is not as involved. He's just not. Yes, he signs the checks, but like, what did he do? Like, he's not a bad owner in a way that, like, he's setting him up for failure because the coaches he's hiring are just not working out. But I think Brent Tillis is a good pickup. I do think Dan Morgan is a good pickup. Look at Charlotte FC. He owns that team. You can't say he's a bad owner, but then praise Charlotte FC to see what they're doing. Like, they haven't fired they had a coach, fired his ass quick, and then they got a Premier League proven manager from Aston Villa. They got him, and now they're going to the playoffs. They're talk of the town, minus LAFC and Miami. But he's in a way, he's still a good owner in a way because at least 50% of the teams that he owns are doing well. So maybe he needs to go back to the drawing board with a head coach. Maybe it's a lot harder to find a good football coach. I guess in soccer, it's really easy. You go to a guy who played in the best league in the world, and then you just have him here in MLS where the game's just not as good, and then you dominate and you play well. And then you get Wilfred Zaha, who's probably one of the best Premier League players back in the day, but still pretty good. Aging like fine wine. Like, pretty simple. NFL, like, it's really tough to pick maybe coaches and really marquee players at key positions. But yeah, I don't think Tepper is to blame. I think he's to blame the fact that we've on our third head coach now in 7 years, and you just can't pick him. Maybe leave it to Brant Tillis to do it this time. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a lot. I was really hoping this season was a good one because we deserve it. Like, yeah, we're not Browns fans. We're not Jets fans. But hey, we're seeing how much fun Bears fans are having. I hate to say it. They're having fun. They got their guy in Ben Johnson. They do. And maybe it's the quarterback that he liked. And maybe, people think Bryce Young is going to do well elsewhere. I don't know, man. He's not putting good tape out there. Not the greatest. That's for sure. You can't even find your 6'5" wide receiver who can jump out of the gym. Can't do it. Still doesn't have touchdowns. Heading into week 5. Week 5? Yeah. It's bad. There's a reason why I started this channel. It's therapy, because no one gives a crap what I have to say around here about the Panthers. So you guys do. I appreciate it. I got a big announcement coming in the next couple of days. Stay tuned. It has something to do with effing the Teppers. Okay? See you guys soon.